Their eyes met across the hardware store aisle, and 30 years collapsed into a single heartbeat. Grace had come for paint. The shutters on her mother's house needed work, and she thought a project might quiet her mind. She had not expected to see him here, had not prepared herself. But there he was. Standing by the wood-stained display, a can in each hand, frozen mid-decision. Jack Thornton. The boy who had kissed her under the bleachers in 1977. The man who had watched her drive away the morning she left for college. The ghost who had lived in the corners of her memory ever since. He looked up. Their eyes locked, and the world went silent. The old radio on the counter was playing Journey, Open Arms, a song from senior year, a song they had danced to at the spring formal, her head on his shoulder, his hand on the small of her back, both of them believing they had forever. Jack said quietly, almost to himself, "Jack." Grace. Grace could barely breathe. Grace. Jack. Neither moved. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Somewhere in the back, a saw whirred to life. The ordinary sounds of a hardware store on a Tuesday morning. But nothing felt ordinary. Jack set the cans down slowly and walked toward her. Grace's heart hammered against her ribs. Her palms were sweating. She was 52 years old, and she felt 17 again. "My doctor would not approve of this heart rate, but my doctor is not here." Jack stopped a few feet away. "Jack, I heard you were back." Grace tried to steady her voice. "Grace, news travels fast." Jack gave a small, sad smile. "Jack, it is Willow Creek. News is all we have." Silence. He looked older, of course. They both did. But his eyes were the same. That particular shade of blue-gray that had always made her feel like he could see straight through her. Jack spoke again. "Jack, how long has it been?" "Grace, 30 years, give or take." Jack nodded slowly. "Jack, 30 years." He said it like he was tasting the words, like he had counted every one of them. Grace said gently, "Grace, I am sorry about your wife. Sarah told me." Something flickered across his face. Pain, acceptance. Something else she could not name. Jack replied, "Jack, thank you. Margaret was a good woman. We had a good life." Grace, "I am glad." Jack hesitated. "Jack, and you. I heard about, Sarah mentioned." Grace cut him off gently. "Grace. Yes. Divorced. 5 years ago. Final." Jack, "I am sorry." Grace, "Do not be. It was time. Past time, probably." Another silence. The song on the radio changed. Something newer. Something she did not recognize. The spell shifted but did not break. Jack started to speak. "Jack. Grace, He stopped. Ran a hand through his silver hair. A gesture so familiar it made her chest ache. He tried again. "Jack, I do not really know what to say. I have thought about this moment for years. What I would say if I ever saw you again. And now you are here, and I cannot find the words." Grace said softly. "Grace, you do not have to say anything, Jack." "Jack, but I do." He took a breath. Deep. Steadying. "Jack, I have been standing at the same crossroad for 30 years, Grace, just waiting to see which direction you would come from." The words landed like stones in still water. Grace felt tears prick at her eyes. She blinked them back. Not here. Not now. Grace. Jack, that is, we were kids. We made choices. Life happened. Jack. I know. I am not saying I spent 30 years waiting by the phone. I lived my life. I loved my wife. I raised my son. He paused. Jack. But there was always this quiet corner of my heart that never stopped wondering. Grace. Wondering what? Jack. What if? 2 words. So small. So heavy. Grace looked away, unable to hold his gaze any longer. Grace. I should go. I have got paint to buy. Shutters to fix. Jack stepped back. Jack. Of course. I did not mean to make you uncomfortable. I am sorry if I did. Grace. You did not. That is the problem. She walked past him, her shoulder almost brushing his arm. She could smell sawdust and coffee, the scent of him, unchanged after all these years. She grabbed a can of paint without looking at the color and headed for the register. The parking lot. Grace paid quickly, hands still trembling, and pushed through the door into the bright morning sun. She leaned against her car, gulping air like she had been underwater. She muttered to herself. Grace. What was that? What the hell was that? Her heart would not slow down. Her mind raced in circles. 30 years. He had been waiting, wondering. Just like her. She had told herself it was over. That first love was just that. First. A practice run. A rough draft of the real thing. But standing there in the hardware store, looking into those eyes, she had felt something crack open. Something she thought she had sealed shut a long time ago. A voice called out, Jack. Grace. She turned. Jack stood a few feet away, keys in hand, next to an old blue Ford pickup. The same truck. She recognized it instantly. Grace almost laughed. Grace, you still have that thing. Jack patted the hood. Jack. 1987. Runs better than I do these days. My dad always said, if something still works, you do not replace it. Grace. I remember. They stood there, 2 people in their 50s, in a hardware store parking lot with 30 years between them and something unnamed in the air. Jack spoke carefully. Jack. Grace, I meant what I said in there, but I do not want to scare you off. You just got here. You are going through a lot. I know that. Grace, Jack. Jack. Let me finish. I am not asking for anything. I am just glad you are back. That is all. He smiled. A real smile. The one she remembered from summer nights and stolen moments. Jack. If you ever need help with those shutters, I am pretty good with a paintbrush. Grace gave a reluctant smile. Grace, I will keep that in mind. Jack. Take care of yourself, Grace. He climbed into his truck, the engine rumbling to life with a familiar throaty growl. Grace watched him pull away, one hand raised in a small wave. She waved back. And then she was alone, standing in the sun, holding a can of paint she did not remember choosing. She looked down at the label. Sunset gold. The same color her mother always used. Grace whispered. Grace. Okay, Mom, I hear you. Evening on the hill. That evening, Grace sat on the porch swing again, watching the sky turn from blue to gold to purple. She had painted one shutter, just one. Her arms ached, but it was a good ache, the kind that came from doing something real. At 52, everything aches. But at least this ache came with a sense of accomplishment. Her phone buzzed. Emily. Emily's voice came through. Emily. Hey, Mom. How are you? Grace. I am okay, sweetheart. Painted a shutter today. Emily laughed. Emily, look at you. Home improvement queen. Grace. One shutter. Let us not get ahead of ourselves. Emily. Still. That is something. Are you settling in okay? Making friends? Grace hesitated. Grace. I ran into someone today. An old friend. Emily. Oh yeah. Who? Grace. Just someone from high school. We had not seen each other in a long time. Emily sounded curious. Emily. Must have been weird. Grace. It was. Good weird, I think. I am not sure yet. Emily's tone shifted. Emily. Well, be careful, Mom. You are in a vulnerable place right now. I do not want anyone taking advantage of that. Grace smiled at her daughter's protectiveness. Grace. I will be careful. Promise. Emily. Okay. I love you. Grace. I love you too, sweetheart. She hung up and set the phone aside. The stars were coming out now, one by one, like old friends arriving at a party. She thought about Jack, his words in the hardware store, the way he had looked at her, like she was still the girl he had loved at 17. Grace spoke to the sky. Grace. What am I supposed to do with this? I came here to find myself, not to reopen old wounds. The wind stirred the leaves overhead. No answer came. But somewhere in the quiet, she felt something shift. Not a decision. Not yet. Just permission. Permission to wonder, to remember, to feel. She had spent so many years being numb, going through the motions, forgetting what it felt like to have her heart race. And today, in a hardware store of all places, she had felt alive again. Maybe that was enough for now. Grace said softly. Grace. One shutter at a time, one day at a time, one feeling at a time. The porch light flickered on automatically, casting a warm circle around her. Down the hill, the town settled into night. Quiet. Peaceful. Unchanged. But Grace Miller was changing. Slowly. Carefully. Like paint drying in the sun. And somewhere across town, in a workshop that smelled of sawdust and memories, Jack Thornton sat alone, running his hand across a piece of wood, thinking of a girl with bright eyes who had driven away one summer morning and never looked back. Until now. The evening star appeared on the horizon. The same star, the same sky, the same two hearts, beating in separate houses, wondering the same thing. 30 years is a long time to wonder what if. One evening is all it takes to find out. What if?